Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and this time I'm playing in one of my favourite vehicles in the game at the moment, and that is the Tier 8 British turreted tank destroyer, the Charioteer. Now, one of the key reasons why I love this vehicle at the moment is that it has mobility pretty much at a Comet level, if not just a slight bit better with regards to its ground resistances, its top speed and its horsepower to ton ratio. This tank maxes out at 52 kilometers an hour, which allows you to race into positions as you can see me here on Lakeville. When you combine this with equipment that I like to use, a camo net, binoculars that makes its 370 meters view range very, very nice indeed, as well as a camouflage crew, you can be super sneaky. This position that you see me using here, I love to use in my medium tanks and my light tanks. It's quite aggressive, so you probably want to have a decent camo crew, and hope that the enemy team don't have the best of view ranges. But if you combine that, you will be able to spot most of the enemy team being able to rush down here and pull off a few sneaky shots. We've already put 3 shots in that we've seen, make that 4 shots that we've seen, and also secured a kill as well on a tank that we could not see. So, you might be wondering, well, what is the gun that this tank gets? Because it seems to be picking apart its opponents quite quickly indeed. And it gets a gun that's pretty much the same as on the Centurion 7.1 and also on the Centurion Action 10. It's 105mm with a monstrous penetration on its standard rounds of 268. Now this vehicle can also use 2 different flavors of HESH ammunition. One, premium HESH, which has 210mm of penetration, and secondly, a cheaper HESH that has 105mm of penetration. But of course, when you use HESH, you're not going to get some of the normalization that the APCR shells get as standard on this vehicle, but you do get increased alpha damage. It goes up from 390 to 480, which can allow you to pick apart softly armored targets very well indeed. I generally use them when I'm firing at targets such as an AMX CDC, or possibly when you want to one-shot equal and higher tiered artillery. It can be very useful. So in the first 2.5 minutes of this game, we've probably done maybe 500 to 1,000 spotting damage, as well as also 3,000 regular damage, including the blind shot that we put in to secure our first kill. The Charioteer is a fearsome sniper. This gun is very nice on probably a fan favorite vehicle, the Centurion 7.1. The difference is that it's on a Tier 8 tank now, and not on the Tier 9 medium tank that the Centurion 7.1 is. And so having this gun at Tier 8 just amplifies its performance when you're considering that we're also shooting at Tier 6 medium tanks on the enemy team, such as the T-34-85 and the Cromwell Berlin. Now, of course, you're still going to meet Tier 10 tanks occasionally, but so what? When you've got 268mm of penetration, that's alright. And so, all in all, it gets condensed into a rather lovely tight package. Now, the only real downsides of this tank are the fact that its gun depression is mediocre for a British vehicle. Its maximum gun depression is 5 degrees. So that's pretty much the same as a Soviet medium tank, such as the T-54. So you're going to have to work around that if you want to master the Charioteer. And also, its armor is terrible. If we take a quick look at its armor profile, you can see that it's not the largest of tanks, but its turret is rather fat. And at its thickest, its armor is 63mm, and that's on the front of the hull, and the turret is a total garbage 30mm, meaning that if you see one of these things, feel free to fire high explosive rounds at its turret, because it's very likely that you're going to go right through, do more damage than you would with an AP shell, and also possibly take out some important modules or crew members on the inside. So we're getting shot at here, probably from a Cromwell Berlin that's located towards the south, but I'm continuing to snipe across. Unfortunately, I think I aimed maybe a pixel or two too high there, and so we were unable to hit the hull armor of the T-34 and take him down. Oh gosh, this guy's getting a little bit lucky. I thought with our 268mm of penetration we would be able to challenge him, but it's not quite working out for us. So it's unusual to have to fire this many shots in a Charioteer in a game. As you can see, the vehicle doesn't have that many rounds, so you cannot afford to miss too many shots. It starts with 30 rounds, but 30 times 390 is still very, very healthy indeed. And if you hit every shot, you can still easily do over 10k in this vehicle, as I have showcased on this channel before with some awesome replays in this machine. So we've picked up 4 kills and 4,000 damage plus, depending on how many blind shots we've hit in the first 5 minutes. But this game is certainly not safe yet. We've still got to handle a VK4502A, a Super Pershing, and a Cromwell Berlin. Now, with the cap escalating as it is, I felt in this situation it was best to leave the one position that I've really used on Lakeville. You can be very dominant from that position in your tanks, which are sneaky, with reliable, accurate guns, and also having an equipment loadout like this, keeping you hidden from the enemy team with the camo net and seeing them with the binoculars. But the Charioteer can relocate very well indeed. As I mentioned, 52 kilometers an hour top speed limit, allowing us pretty much to get around just like a fairly okay medium tank would. Not the fastest medium tank, but it allows you to outmaneuver heavies with ease. So we come around the corner, hoping to get this Super Pershing, and unfortunately for us, our shell goes a little high. And that was a bit of a misplay there, maybe a little bit of overconfidence from me, as he also hits us in the turret. Luckily, the VK misses us, and we trade very well with him, rolling for 436, and putting him a damn sight lower than he was. He was very healthy when we came into the town. Now I want to get across and try and support the Type 59 on my team, who just fell. So instead, we're going to try and work with this Hellcat. The Super Pershing fires, and that means we've got a second to aim at him. I decide instead to fire at the VK4502A, and it looks like the Super Pershing hadn't actually fired. It was the VK that had fired. That Hellcat is now low. Oh god, this is going really bad, and when you consider we've got 2 artilleries on our team, I don't actually have that many more tanks left alive that are going to be helping me after that Hellcat falls to the Cromwell Berlin. So I double on back and I aim at the Cromwell Berlin, hoping to get a shot in on him. Oh gosh, we bounced off the turret. What a disaster. Let's get into cover. We've got to avoid fire from the Cromwell and the VK4502A. And also, by staying in a position such as this, that means that I will get artillery support down this corridor. So I go forwards to find the VK. We put a hit into his turret. Now we've run out of APCR rounds, we're going to fire Hesh instead. The Cromwell comes around the corner and locks down my turret, but I repair it with my repair pack and manage to finish him off. Great result there, 5,300 damage done, and our 6th kill of the game. So if the Super Pershing gets really lucky with his roll, he can still kill us in one shot. I'm not interested in that. I'm the last tank left alive with 2 self-propelled guns. I would far rather lure the Super Pershing into the open and hope that the GW Tiger Pig on my team can finish him off. And so I just bait him there with some vision, and then I pull back round the corner, and then nature takes its course as artillery shuts him down. So this was certainly a game that was representative of the kind of playstyle you will have to develop in the Charioteer if you want to be successful in it. And it's a playstyle that I actually thoroughly enjoy. Outmaneuvering and outplaying your opponents with regards to using camera rating and view range is very, very satisfying when it goes well. So much so that I've invested 4 of my female crew in the Charioteer, and they very nearly are reaching 4 skills. Originally, the 4 girls that I have in the Charioteer were in the Conway, the Tier 9 turreted British tank destroyer, but I just found the gameplay in that tank rather boring. It doesn't have the mobility of the Charioteer, which allows you to make flashy plays and also to out-sneak and outplay your opponents. And let's just try and forget about the Tier 10 British turreted tank destroyer, at least the FV4101 variant, because while of course it can be seriously troll with that 183mm gun, that gigantic box of a turret just doesn't really cut it. And so my recommendation to you is that if you like snipers, give the Charioteer a go. You might be pleasantly surprised. And once you've played the Tier 9 and Tier 10 British turreted tank destroyers like me, you might regret moving your crew and come back to the Charioteer. So let's just take a very quick look at the post-game stats. So I was pleasantly surprised that this game happened during a 5x experience event, and we got 12,250 experience with our high caliber and our Top Gun medal. The high caliber was for nearly 6,000 damage done, and we actually did less spotting damage than I thought, only 660, of which quite a lot of that would have been on the super Pershing at the end. So it looks like while we did spot quite a few tanks at the beginning that were trying to make their way into the town, my team simply just didn't make use of the vision. Nevertheless, we had to do 4 times what any other player on our team was able to do to carry this game, being the last tank standing with the support of 2 self-propelled guns. The armor of the Charioteer unsurprisingly didn't bounce a single shot. Even the tier 6 medium tank, the Cromwell, which has fairly low penetration, was easily able to butter its way through the weak armor of this vehicle. But that's not the playstyle of the Charioteer. This vehicle wants to get its opponents between probably about 350 and 450 meters, where it can hopefully see them without being seen, take the shot, and then either pull back or keep on blazing away. And this tank really can take down its opponents fairly quickly, as it does fire 6 rounds a minute, which is 20% better DPM than the tier 9 British medium tank, the Centurion 7-1. And so the key aspects I really wanted to bring out in this replay are using your equipment and your crew skills to be able to give your tank the edge over your opponents. And it's very important to select the right crew skills and equipment for different tanks that can hopefully accentuate the playstyle to give you the edge. And with regards to the Charioteer, my recommendation is a gun rammer as standard, a camouflage net, binoculars. Prioritize camouflage for all of your crew skills. Get 6th sense as quickly as you can on your commander, and then start to work on things such as clutch braking to improve the poor track traverse of the tank, and snapshot to cut down on the aim time lost when you traverse your turret. And talking about turrets on tank destroyers, it's actually a very useful tool on the Charioteer, as it allows you to keep your reticule on your opponents without having to turn your track traverse, which would thus break your camouflage net and your binoculars, amplifying their importance on this vehicle. And so hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, or maybe it was just useful to you. If it was, please consider giving it a like down below. It really helps the channel out. And if this video has sparked your interest in the tier 8 British turreted tank destroyer, then simply click through up here and you can go through to OxyClean, having a phenomenal round, doing over 10,000 damage in this tier 8 British tank destroyer. Or alternatively, use the more info icon in the top right hand corner of your screen to be able to see that replay, and also find a link to a full tank review on the Charioteer. And let me know in the comments down below, what are your favorite snipers in the game? And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.